My wife told me that she thinks our 11-year-old daughter is being bullied emotionally by some girls at school. As I drove into work, I wondered if Jiu Jitsu would give her some tools to help her deal with emotional stress and or bullying that might be taking place.
I think we all know the answer that Jocko will give to this question. Absolutely. Jiu-Jitsu will help. 11 years old is a perfect age for getting in there, and she will learn to defend herself for real in physical confrontations, which will give her confidence, because let's face it, emotional and verbal bullying is absolutely backed up by a either clear message of possible violence or a subliminal message of possible violence, right? I mean, a girl that's getting picked on, the underlying message is there, the implied message is there that it could go physical if it had to. And when that gets removed, because the daughter knows how to now fight and defend herself, that starts to impact these emotional bullies as well. So yes, absolutely, get her training. I would throw some boxing in there too, just because that is a pretty empowering thing. You're punching something that feels good. And you know what, while we're at it, let's get some working out going on, right? Get a pull-up bar, get her Way of the Warrior Kid. No kidding.
Yeah.
Absolutely get her Way of the Warrior Kid. Don't baby her too much.
Yeah.
You got to be careful of that, because she's your daughter and you say, oh, it's so horrible and these girls are picking at you. Don't do that, because guess what? She's going to be dealing with this her whole life. You're going to there's always bullies in every environment, in school environment, in the work environment, in everywhere. There's bullies, and she's going to have to deal with them. So don't baby her where she thinks that you're the one that's going to save her from it. And I also think she should know that everyone gets bullied. I got asked that when Way of the Warrior Kid came out. Someone said, well, did you get bullied? And they think, of course, I would never get bullied because I'm a big dude. Well, guess what? When I was 9 years old, I was a scrawny little 9-year-old kid. And everybody that was 11 was bigger than me and stronger than me.
Yeah.
And then when I was 11, everyone that was 13 was bigger than me and stronger than me.
Yeah.
And when I was 14, everyone that was 16 was bigger than me and stronger than me. So no matter who you are as a kid, there's always somebody that's bigger and stronger than you that's going to bully you if they're a jerk. So I think she should understand that she's getting bullied right now, but that happens to people, and people get over it and get through it. And I do think you have to be, when you say that, you can't leave you can't overwhelm her and say everyone gets bullied and you're going to always get bullied in the office. You know what I mean? I'm not saying to overwhelm her and think that's just like, there's a lot. Did you ever see the movie The Professional?
Which one was that?
The French guy.
Oh yeah.
And
Leon.
Yeah. There's a great scene in that movie where the girl there's like a crazy fight going on between her parents in the apartment. They're yelling at each other, they're screaming, they're slapping people, the domestic violence is going on, and she comes out and she's sitting in the hallway. Yeah. And she's crying, and the assassin guy kind of walks up the stairs, and he looks at her and she looks at him, and she says, is life always like this, or does it get better when you get older? And he looks at her and says, always like this.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful that that's not the message that you're sending. Now, there is some reality to that statement.
Yes.
Like, yeah, guess what? Life is always going to be hard, and you do want to give your kids enough exposure to the hard things so that they're not weak.
Yeah.
And they don't go into panic mode when something tough enters their world. So that's why things like jiu-jitsu and working out are good, and exposing them and letting them experience some hard things. But again, you just don't want to overwhelm her, and that's that. And by the way, you might as well start training jiu-jitsu too there, Dad. Get mom in there too. Yeah, now you got an excuse to get down in that gym, get your jiu-jitsu on. And I know that you don't train jiu-jitsu, because if you did, you wouldn't be asking this question. You'd be getting her training.
Yeah.
You making that happen.
So you emotionally bullied, right?
So this is interesting. In the new Warrior Kid book, the bully. There's a bully in there, but he's not a bully like Kenny Williamson,
Right.
who's a big, strong bully.
Yeah.
He's a bully that's an emotional bully. He kind of is. And every time there seems like there's going to be a confrontation, he finds a way to weasel out of it.
Yeah.
So he'll harass people, but then he'll get out of it. Harass people. He knows perfectly how to push the buttons. That's what Mark's dealing with. This kid named Nathan James.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Nathan James causes problems. Yeah, there's some layers in that name for sure.
So this makes a lot of sense to me because I have a daughter, 4.5, by the way, goes to pre-K. It's like preschool.
Pre-K, is that the jiu-jitsu school she goes to?
No, no, bruh. Anyway, so
who's the instructor?
She told me one day, she said that her friends, I'm not gonna say their name, doesn't matter. She said this friend told me that she's not my friend, she's only this other girl's friend. Mm-hmm. Right? That's emotional bullying right there. Right. For the 4.5-year-old version of it, by the way. So it gets way worse at 11, by the way. Yeah. And then probably way worse at 15, 16. It's just my assumption. So what I told her, not to say this is the right answer, but maybe it's something to think about. So my daughter does jiu-jitsu, has done jiu-jitsu.
Double leg choke. I like it.
Well, that's what you want to say. Be like, oh, you'd smash it. And she's bigger, too. She's bigger than everyone in her class,
so she's going to be
the
the
way.
bully.
No.
All right, so what'd you tell her?
My daughter's trained to be a nice person. Okay, so I always have this underlying thing. No matter if someone be mean to you, that doesn't mean you be mean to them. That makes you a mean person. I said mean people will be mean to other people. Nice people tend to not be mean to other people. Right? That's really real basic stuff.
Fundamental. I like it. Yeah.
But she's 4.
Yeah.
So you just keep reminding her. So I told her, hey, look, if she doesn't want to be your friend, then she's not your friend, and that's okay. Does that mean you be mean to her? No. But at the end of the day, I said, are you stronger than her? And she said, yeah. I said, are you smarter than her? She said, yeah. I don't know if she is or isn't. Here's the thing. It's the self-empowering thing, just like how you said, where she knows jiu-jitsu, she's smarter, she's stronger, she can do more pull-ups, she can do more burpees and stuff like that. All this stuff, it starts to form in her head. Hopefully, this is the goal.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll form in her head that if they don't want to be my friend, that's okay. That's no loss to me. Maybe if someone who is strong like me, smart like me, and whatever like me didn't want to be, okay, maybe that's something, but this isn't the case, It's kind of that idea.
I think that's good advice. I think the thing of just saying, oh yeah, that's okay. Not everyone's going to want to be your friend. That's okay.
Yeah.
And some people are going to like you and some people aren't going to like you. That's okay. You just be nice to everyone. That's fine.
Yeah.
I got to ask that question. But when we did the One Warrior Kid podcast, a bunch of people asked, I feel like people don't want to hang around with me. And I was like, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. You don't need to hang around with people all the time. I don't like hanging around with people. I didn't say that because I don't want to turn everyone into an antisocial person like me. But
yeah, that makes it. And that thing, or I think you just said it, where because my daughter always asks, did people not want to be your friend, or would she like bump her head real hard? She'd be like, did you used to bump your head when you were little? She always wants to know, like, am I alone in this whole deal? Yeah. And man, it seems like it really helps when I say, no, I used to all the time. I show her like my scars and stuff like that. And she'll be like, oh, and you can tell she feels better about it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's weird. I think that would help with the bullying thing.
And it's good. Your daughter's smart, and so she has the capability of formulating that question. I bet a lot of kids might not be able to even say, hey, did you bump your head too? Right. Whereas a parent, if you just recognize that they probably feel alone, and so if you say, oh, I know you bumped your head. I used to bump my head too. One time, look, I got a scar on my head. It happened to me too. So they don't make your kids beg for a partner in the world. Give it to them.
Yeah.
Follow the Echo Charles model of parenting.
And that makes sense too now that I'm thinking of it, because like even as an adult, okay, so you got a kid and they're like, hey, did you bump your head like this and get blood on your head or whatever when you're little? And you're like, yeah. And if you add this, and this is how I dealt with it, right? Because a lot of times like
you give them a little path.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah. So you got this poor little kid that bumped her head, and it's like, dang, I've never felt this before. There's a lot of pain. There's blood. Oh, that's scary. I don't know really how to deal with it, right? So of course you go to your dad, and then your dad's like, yeah, hey, yeah, I've done it. This is how I did it. This is how I dealt with it. And she's like, okay, maybe I can deal with that. And even because adults, we do that too. You know, like, dang, I'm getting, I don't know, audited.
Yeah.
I'm getting audited. The first time, whatever. Jocko, hey, you know, or you know, your friend or whatever is like, hey, I got audited, and this is what you can expect. This is like how you deal with it and all this stuff. And boom, you feel better about it.
Indeed.
And more empowered. And that's on top of the jiu-jitsu. If I got audited, I would way rather know jiu-jitsu than not, by the way.
Yeah. Check.